So the concept is all about energy storage. So what we do is we try to look at patterns globally, which what happened is there's huge penetration of renewable energy globally because people have been pushing for renewable energy for environmental concerns, energy security, but also recently the cost of renewable has come down so much that it's become competitive with conventional sources. But the problem with renewable energy like solar and wind is that it's in intermittency. So, during the day there's sun, at night there isn't. Wind sometimes blows, not all the time that we need it. So there's a global push right now and a need for storing energy. Now, you can store energy as electricity, or you can store it as thermal or other types of mechanical. All these projects is an attempt for us to figure out how can we use energy storage to smoothen the difference between energy supply for renewables and energy demand in case of stationary and transportation application. Net energy, I started other companies, and as an engineer, we try always we focus on the technology. So we focus on the technology, perfect the technology, show that it works and all that. In NETenergy actually did the opposite. I mean, we knew there's potential. We did some proof of concept, and then we filed for the patent through the university. And then I told the university, all right, I want to license it, start a company. But the first thing we did is we went out and looked at the market. What are the market? And then determined what is the best application that matches our technology, that give us an advantage over the competition and other technologies. And we found that there's a lot of buildings, what's called owner-occupied buildings. These are, buildings that when you go to a mall or a plaza, you find a McDonald's or a bank that is by itself. So these buildings are owner-occupied, and they use what's called rooftop cooling units. And the demand for electricity in peak hours is so high, so the utilities charge what's called demand charge. And that is actually very expensive for these buildings. So we found that our technology can be a great match to offset their peak demand. So it's called, to avoid demand charge. And we did some analysis, economic analysis. We looked at the utility, different areas in the country, different global areas. And in the US, for example, we found about 700,000 buildings that match that type of category. And half of them are in hot areas where energy cost is a burden for the owners. So we said, all right, we're going to focus on those, and we developed our business model around avoiding demand charge of cooling, during peak hours or during these when they exceed their peak demand. Not that it's solicited, but my advice to any entrepreneur or technology developers, it's great to do the first step, which to show or to make sure that you believe that your technology can work, that it can be scaled, in a lab level or in testing, proof of concept. But the first step after that, just make sure that there's a market for it, big market, and actually you can be competitive in that market. That is not, the barriers for you to enter those markets are identified, and actually there's a value proposition for you that can get you to realize the technological advances in the marketplace. Otherwise, it'll be very difficult, very painful, and actually that's where most technology develops a struggle.